something. The straights aren't long enough to relax. The start-finish straight isn't really even a straight. It's a very shallow arc from one end to the other. So Michael Bleekie-Molen, with just over 3 minutes to go, has gone out and done a few exploratory laps. The next car is now heading out to do a few exploratory laps, which again, I think for Yevgen Sokolovskiy is a very sensible thing to do. He brings his Marko Stipp Motorsport Chevy out onto track to, again, just sample what's going on. Now, Yevgen is a new driver to Brands Hatch. He's not raced here in the past. He joined the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series last year, where he finished runner-up in the Legend Trophy. He was third in the Challenger standings as well, because again he competed in both Euro NASCAR Pro and Euro NASCAR 1, and he's found the limit already, almost identical to what Miguel Gomez did. Just applied that power very slightly too quickly coming out of Druids, and you could see tail end straight away decided that it didn't want it. And as I say, when you've got no traction control, it's all down to how aggressive you feel you can be with your right foot on that accelerator. And it was probably only just a slight amount too much pressure that he put onto that accelerator, and straight away the Chevy decided that it wasn't going to play ball, and a quick spin, harmless spin, but Yevgen will continue round with the lap, and again he's found the limit now. Just dial it back a little bit from there, because you now know what you can't do with the car up there at Druids, so bring it back to the point of which the car likes it. So through the right-hander at Paddock Hill Bend, down through the bottom of the dip, the circuit starts to climb uphill again, so up Halewood Hill as it's called, in towards the right-hander at Druids. As soon as you're out of the right-hander, this was the point he had the spin on the previous lap. Again, you can see the tail end just move around slightly. See the spray coming out of the back of the car as well. Through the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend, as soon as he touched the curb there, you could hear the wheel spin kick in instantly as the car had not sufficient grip on the painted curb. Stay on the tarmac, try and stay off those curbs in these conditions as well. And again, this is not for time, this is just purely to understand what the circuit does in tricky conditions. And I think we're probably only going to see these two cars out. So as I thought, it has meant that the track conditions have not improved, so we'll see any shuffling of the order. The track is still just too wet, but we have seen only two cars come out to sample these conditions, and that I have found a little bit surprising. So Yevgen at the wheel of this beautifully liveried car. So many cars over the years been painted in those iconic light blue and orange colours. The Gulf livery, as it's almost known, isn't it? You only need to show a car in that livery and everybody always says that's the Gulf liveried car, even though it might not have any logos on it, suggesting that that's the case, but this one does have. But yeah, it's an iconic livery. And Yevgen is, I think, going to see the checkered flag this time through. He's not going to get over the start-finish line with any seconds remaining on the clock. So Yevgen Sokolovskiy takes the checkered flag. He will be the only car to receive the checkered flag at the end of that qualification session, which was interrupted by the rain, but it does mean that for the first time in his NASCAR Whelen Euro Series career, Advait Dioda is going to start from pole position for the Euro NASCAR 2 race that we've got coming up a little bit later on today. He will be joined by Tobias Dauenhauer on the front row of the grid. It will be Justin Kuntz and Alberto Panebianco, the two Chevys, on the second row of the grid. Francisco Garisto will line up alongside the championship leader Martin Dubeck, who'd got a 100% record in the season coming into this weekend, because he'd qualified on pole and set fastest lap and won both races at Circuit Ricardo Tormo, and amazingly led every racing lap as well, did Martin Dubeck. But his 100% record gone already this weekend at Brands Hatch, because he's qualified 6th quickest on the same row of the grid, as I say, of Francesco Garisto, who'll line up 5th. 7th and 8th, Max Lancer and Simon Polat. 9th and 10th, the 5th row of the grid, Pierluigi Veronesi, and the car we've just seen out there, Yevgen Sokolovskiy. only 11th quickest for number 1, Vladimiras Choitsis, who was second in the championship standings coming into this weekend. So the Cypriot driver has got a big chunk of work to do at the wheel of the Academy Motorsport and Alex Caffey Motorsport prepared Ford from 11th on the grid. Michael Bleekie-Molen, the other car that we saw head out to sample the wet conditions, is 12th. Nave Talor is 13th, the Israeli, ahead of the Cypriot driver, which is the number 2 car of Thomas Krasinas. Then it's our Scandinavian